Good evening, and thanks for staying up late with us tonight. I'm Brooke Buckner here with Nick Luttrell and meteorologist Simone Thomas. And Nick, I'm going to start with you because I know you've had a really busy weekend in the sports world.
Yeah, it was busy. It was a good busy though,
Yeah.
especially when the Razorbacks win. You know, getting the baseball win today and last night, and then the Razorback men's basketball team doing well. You know, it's pretty fun. And the Oaklawn races were fun today. You know, it was a decent day outside, so it was always a good time.
A lot of good things happening.
A lot of good things happening. And I guess the forecast too makes us winners because we finally got to thaw out. I know a few places that are still under some shade might be still seeing some lingering ice, but definitely as we get to the coming days, it's gonna get warm enough where we'll finally get the ice out of here. But what we won't be able to get out of here tonight is the fog. We do have a dense fog advisory going into effect at 2 a.m. lasting through 8 a.m. As you see, this is for a lot of south central Arkansas, not including the Little Rock Metro, but areas just south of that, including cities like Hot Springs, Pine Bluff, Arkadelphia down to Camden and Monticello. This is going to impact that morning commute, so make sure you plan extra time for your drive in the morning just to be safe on the roads. As we look at overnight lows, a lot of those locations that are under this advisory hovering around that freezing mark, so we could see the potential for some freezing fog developing. Here's a look at 2 a.m. when we're looking to see that advisory starting. Through the duration of that advisory, we'll see some of that fog expanding into some of central Arkansas as well, but we're really only seeing that advisory just to the south of the Little Rock Metro. More details on the week ahead are coming up later on in the show, so make sure you stick around.
Thanks, Simone. Community activists, pastors, and several others came together this afternoon for a Black History Month service focused on the youth in our community. THV 11's Maya Ellison gives us a closer look at the message behind today's service.
He still sits on the throne.
Sunday's Stop the Violence annual Black History service took place at Pilgrim Rest Missionary Baptist Church. In the Black community, the church has played a significant role in providing hope and strength for centuries. The same can be said for songs like this. Those hymnals brought smiles to the faces of the congregation. And even children. Impacting the youth was the main message behind Sunday's celebration.
And we just don't want our kids to go backwards from where they are now. We intend for the future to go forward.
And that influence comes from knowledge. That's one of the ways children took part in Sunday's Black History service, from the presentation of Black History readings
On July 2nd, 1908.
to a selective praise dance performance.
That we need to be telling them about our history, our local history.
Historian and activist Macy V. Butler has been a part of many African-American moments in the natural state. As a member of Dignity, it was that organization that opened up doors for African-American children and communities to thrive.
We started the first youth prevention program, violence prevention programs in Little Rock. We had the YIP program, the Youth Initiative Projects. We started the first neighborhood service center, so now you got neighborhood service centers all over the city.
That work has carried on into organizations such as Stop the Violence, opening doors to continue traditions and teach children the importance of Black history for years to come.
If you forget about the past, you don't have a future. And we want our children to have a future. Our children are our future.
Maya Ellison, THV 11 News.
Thank you, Maya. The Arkansas Black Hall of Fame also celebrating Black History Month this afternoon with their Distinguished Laureate Lecture Series. Internationally renowned opera star Kristen Lewis was in attendance today, alongside our very own Journey Taylor. Lewis was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2019 and is a Little Rock native. She spoke at the event and had a very powerful message she hopes can motivate everyone.
Once I accepted my path and really walked in my purpose, what I discovered was doors opening all the time. So as long as I stayed true to myself and just put one foot in front of the other, I found myself finding success, but with a lot of support. Don't allow for anything to stand in your way. Being from Arkansas is not a drawback in any way. I'm proof of that. And so believe in yourself, continue to work very, very hard, and it can happen. It will happen.
Black History Month continues through the end of February, and we here at THV 11 will continue to share the stories of Black communities and impactful figures right here in Arkansas. Tonight, the search for 95-year-old Belva Day is still ongoing. Mountain Home Police activated a silver alert for her 2 weeks ago, and she has not been seen since just before 2 p.m. on February 6th. Investigators say she was last seen headed towards Fulton County on Highway 62 in this 2004 beige Buick. She was later spotted on video in Gep, then Calico Rock, and finally Batesville before the trail went cold. That's where a local Facebook group comes into play, a group called the Search for Mrs. Belva Day. It has nearly 8.5 thousand members, all spreading the word and searching for her. If you know where she may be, you're asked to call the Mountain Home Police Department. Developing now, Pope Francis is in critical condition, battling serious health issues. CBS's Seth Doan has the latest from Rome.
Pope Francis remains in critical condition tonight, and blood tests are revealing early signs of kidney failure. We've learned that the Pope is also receiving high-flow oxygen through tubes in his nose, and he is continuing to get blood transfusions. Doctors tell us this is not a good sign. On a more encouraging note, the Vatican says he has not had another respiratory crisis since Saturday. That's when we learned he was in more pain than he had been previously. His doctors have underscored he is a fragile patient, and this is not an easy case to treat. I asked one of his doctors how many different drugs he's on, and the answer was a lot. He has chronic underlying lung conditions, but despite all of this, the Holy See press office says he is alert and well-oriented. He even participated in a mass this morning at the hospital at a small chapel there.
It was a busy week at the Capitol with lawmakers proposing and signing a number of bills. First, there's House Bill 1489. It looks to add nitrogen hypoxia as a way to carry out executions, but is met with some criticism as some who have seen it say it's not as quick and easy as advocates claim. THV 11's Catherine Rowley explains.
Never before in the history of mankind have we had an execution method that endangers everyone else in the vicinity, the people who are carrying out the execution.
Hypoxia is the technical term for an inadequate supply of oxygen. Replace the air we breathe with only nitrogen and a person dies. In theory and so far in practice, advocates say the method causes the person to pass out and thus not realizing they are dying. But Jeff Hooks says that wasn't the case when he witnessed it.
It's a horrific method. I mean, we're talking about something that's akin to putting a bag over someone's head and suffocating them to death.
Hooks is a spiritual advisor to death row inmates and witnessed the first execution using this new method. He says it looked more like suffocation and torture compared to lethal injections.
We have to begin to consider and to think, what is this method doing to the victim's family, corrections officers, and other witnesses who are absolutely horrified by what they see.
Hooks and other critics argue that using the gas would violate the inmates' 8th Amendment rights. There are currently 25 inmates on Arkansas's death row, all convicted of capital murder over the last 40 years. Hooks believes that lawmakers should have to witness this type of method of execution before adding it to the state's allowed methods.
These legislators are never going to have to be imperiled by nitrogen gas. These legislators are never going to have to witness a nitrogen execution. They're never going to have to perform a nitrogen execution.
While Reverend Hooks opposes the death penalty regardless, he believes there are more humane ways to do so.
The state of Arkansas is better than this. The state of Arkansas is better than just torturing someone.
The bill is currently on the agenda for the House Judiciary Committee this Thursday. Meanwhile, lawmakers did agree on a new law aiming at improving maternal health outcomes. Governor Sanders signed Bill HB 1427 into law Thursday. It's also known as the Healthy Moms, Healthy Babies Act. The multi-million-dollar program would boost Medicaid funding for pregnancy care, increasing reimbursements, expanding remote monitoring, and covering up to 14 prenatal and postnatal visits.
And will increase Medicaid's investment in pregnant women by more than $12 million. We will also increase reimbursements for deliveries and C-sections by 70%.
Multiple surveys rank Arkansas near the bottom for pregnancy resources for both the mothers and their children. That's not the only bill signed into law Thursday. The governor also put pen to paper on 2 bills looking to bring improvements to the classroom and the lunchroom. THV 11's Rebecca Brown has the details.
The pen hitting the official document marks the beginning of a new journey within the Arkansas school system. On Thursday, Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders signing legislation banning cell phones in schools and launching a free breakfast program for all students.
Education is all about making sure every student has opportunity, and free school breakfast and phone-free schools make Arkansas even better for Arkansas students.
Governor Sanders launched these initiatives back in January during her State of the State address. Now across the political lines, lawmakers have made that proposal a reality.
So we're so excited about what this bill is going to do and how it's going to help protect our children, not only from a distraction-free environment in the classroom for academic performance, but also for the emotional intelligence, the socialization that they need, and really just to understand what it's like to be a kid.
We have a universal commitment, bipartisan, every corner of the state, to make sure that when our kids are in school, they will not be hungry. So I want to thank my colleagues in the legislature for making sure, along with the governor, that we're going to take food insecurity in Arkansas from the bottom and we're going to go to the top.
Representative Zach Gramlich, a middle school teacher and co-sponsor on the bills, added a personal touch Thursday.
How we had kids who would organize fights and get in fights in the bathroom and video and put them online. I see kids come in who are hungry, maybe they missed breakfast or whatever, and what they do is they come in and they lay their head down.
With hope, these new laws will turn everything around.
And we're going to be able to get kids engaged, we're going to get kids learning, and we're going to get them on a pathway to success.
In Little Rock, Rebecca Brown, THV 11 News.
Lawmakers are also discussing how schools would make up missed days with House Bill 1370, but the bill has yet to be heard in committee. And a pair of bills that could reshape Arkansas's alcohol industry are now headed for the governor's desk. Senate Bill 97 would allow people or corporations that own 1 liquor permit to buy up to 3 and is sponsored by Senator Bart Hester. Local liquor store owners worry the bill could hurt their business and help retailers like Walmart. The store's director of public affairs says those fears are misplaced.
Limits it to 1 per county, which still encourages competition. A company or a person can't own 3 liquor stores in 1 city. So it's 1 liquor store, 1 city, 1 county. So you still have strong competition among all of the liquor store owners.
Meanwhile, SB 98 would allow grocery and convenience stores to deliver alcohol to wet counties. It would also allow third-party companies like DoorDash to deliver in the same way. One local liquor store owner doesn't think that's a good idea.
If you're a minimum wage employee just running around in a van making deliveries and nobody's coming to the door, are you going to go make your next delivery? Amazon wants you to keep a schedule. Are you going to wait there for 10-15 minutes for them to come answer the door to check their ID?
The bills have made it through the House and Senate, but there has not been a decision on when they could be signed. Lawmakers are also pushing to regulate short-term rentals in the state like Airbnbs and Verbos. House Bill 1445 aims to establish more state-level oversight rather than leaving it up to local governments. Republican Representative Britt McKenzie says this bill is necessary to protect property rights and dismantle overly restricted regulations cities and counties have in place. But not everyone agrees, including North Little Rock Mayor Terry Hartwick, who says he isn't the only mayor against the bill. The proposal is expected to be heard on the House floor in the next few weeks. And tomorrow, a celebration of life will be held for former Governor Jim Guy Tucker. It follows Friday's public viewing, where the Capitol opened its doors as Tucker laid in state in the rotunda. Tucker served as governor from 1992 to 1996 and died on the 13th at 81 years old. Governor Sanders has ordered all state flags to fly at half-staff in his honor.
We'll start out your Monday with a little bit of fog across central and south central Arkansas. Then throughout the day, could see a mix of clouds and sun, looking to see more sunshine towards the afternoon and evening, with highs climbing to the lower and middle 60s. That's just the start of the week. More details on the rest of the week are coming up after the break.